I want to be the best at what I do. I got what I wanted, but at the same time, after I got it, ironically, I felt like I didn't want it.
Guest on today, Veronica, pastry chef, aka Vera Rocher. Today we're catching up with her at the pantry store in Stanmore, one of her favorites. We talk about her start into cooking, how her love of pastry and how an opportunity came up that took her into creating food media and content, and then how that transitioned into doing it also for herself.
I just think I love food. After everything that I wanted, why do I still feel like I'm empty?
If you could give advice to your younger self, what advice would you give them?
What you're going through is tough, but you're on the right track.
Hi, my name's Elijah, here with AN.Told, and got a guest on today, Veronica, pastry chef, aka Vera Rocher. You can find her on Instagram, TikTok, everywhere. Follow her. Today we're catching up with her at the pantry store in Stanmore, one of her favorites. And if a pastry chef says it's good, it's got to be good. So, first of all, they're very good oat long black, so go and get them. Oat cold brews, I should say. So we talk about a few things. We talk about her start into cooking, her transition to pastry chef, how her love of pastry and how an opportunity came up that took her into creating food media and content, and then how that transitioned into doing it also for herself. All of these things, and about how doing all that while having broken English and wanting to perfect that and knowing how to be a better communicator through food, through talking. It's just so many layers of this story that are so important, all while enjoying some pastries, mind you. Tune in, it's going to be a fun one. So, Veronica, pastry chef in the midst. We've had a few pastry chefs who've spoken to them. It's a very different class of chef. It's a different world of cooking and chefing in restaurants. I'm curious, where was your drive and motivation to want to go into pastry? Tell us about early on, about maybe knowing you wanted to go to pastry when you first started.
Okay, this is an interesting one because I was in high school, and during that time, we all need to decide what we want to do for our future. But at that time, I didn't have any interest. So I was that type of student that just fall asleep as soon as the teacher speaks, and I always late. So that was me. So after I was late, and after I sit down, I would sleep until break time. So that's basically me, and my report was not very good. And I didn't have consistent hobby. So it was, at the same time, I felt bad because I see my friends, they all have hobbies, but I didn't really have solid hobbies. But then we still need to decide what we wanted to do. And at that time, food was the most familiar for me. And I remember that when my parents, or like especially my dad, he would come back from work and then he would bring us food, and we would be so happy, overjoyed, and then we just like go downstairs and then we all eat together. I think that's like what really what makes me love about food. But then at that time, when I decided to study pastry, I actually didn't bake or cook, but I just think I love food.
Yeah.
That's like what I thought. So I decided to study in Australia, and I think Australia is great. It's a great destination to study hospitality because they have great programs, especially in my school. But also at the same time, it's not that cheap. But since this is my first time ever deciding something very important in my life, so I kind of made a promise to myself and also silently to my parents that because they have spent this amount of money for me, so I decided that I want to be the best at what I do. I just want to do my best to be the best. So that has been my mindset ever since I came here when I was like 18.
Yeah.
And I studied really hard, and I worked really, really hard. And I didn't really take much breaks because I was so fixated on, I wanted to become a head chef by 23. And yes, because I worked really hard and I sacrificed a lot, I got what I wanted. But at the same time, after I got it, ironically, I felt like I didn't want it. Yeah. it's so ironic because like I'm pretty sure there are a lot of chefs who wanted that position so bad, and then they were like, yes, this is what I wanted. But then for me, it's like, oh, I was thinking, yes, I was happy for a moment, like a month or two. But then after that, what's next? It was also hard for me, and I didn't want to feel that, but somehow I cannot help but to feel that. And why is it? So that was the first time where my belief was proven to be wrong. And I feel like all of this time from my youth until like early adulthood until 23, I was chasing for an empty treasure box. And
Ridiculous.
yeah. And I began to questions about what is the meaning of life, what is actually my purpose.
Sure.
Yeah, because after everything that I wanted, why do I still feel like I'm empty?
Yeah.
So I want to redefine my purpose. And but also at the same time, at that time it was around 2024. I was about to turn like 25, and I just my long-term relationship just ended, which made me really question about my belief again, because like again I thought that this is the person that I was going to be together for the rest of my life, and then not. So like my work was not good, my relationship was not good. Did I have friends? I don't think I had like solid friends, and I was far away from my family. And my English at that time was not very good. I was speaking broken English when I was like 24. So it was also the first time for me to be independent. It was tough, but I guess it was needed for me to get to where I'm from. And at that time I had the idea of making content creation. Actually, before that, even like when I was like 18, I've always thought that I think I cannot work for someone for a long time. But the long term is like I would like to work for myself. I would like to have that flexibility. So at that time I was thinking, what can I do? Even if I wanted to open a business at that time, I didn't have the capital. It was after COVID, and then also family was not doing very well financially, so I have to help them. And so I was thinking, what can I do with what I have? And I just had a realization that, well, I have one of the most powerful tools in this generation, which is like our phone. Our phone can access so much information and also create so many opportunities. And so at that time, I worked in a bakery at 4 a.m. Sorry, actually, at that time, when I was like around 24, I was actually a head chef still. And then the owner asked me if I can make a content for them. And I made them a content, and it turned out well. And from that, I see that I have a potential of making content creation. And so I thought, like, why don't I just try to make it myself instead of for someone? So that's how it started. I started to make content at home. Anyway, I cook. I always cook at home. So why don't I just make contents out of it? And I remember the first time that I made contents. I posted it and I asked my friends to share it on their story. But that one for me is like a commitment. Once I asked all of my friends to post that on their story, it's kind of like a commitment for me that I cannot just stop, because I already asked all of my friends for help. So that's how it started. Yeah.
Very good. I feel like it's a nice way to wrap it up. But you've touched on a lot of really interesting points there, right? Because for a lot of chefs or cooks that start their journey, it takes a while for them to find out what it is that they're passionate about.
Yeah.
For the first stage of their career, they are just cooking for the sake of learning and growing and developing their skills, until they get to a point like you where you're like, well, what makes me happy? You know, what am I doing or what can I do that will actually make me continue to cook? So you decided to go for pastry. Some other chefs, for example, might enjoy French food, or they might really enjoy seafood or whatever it is. And that kind of food makes them happy. And you don't discover that till later. You know, you reach this crisis point where where you're like, okay, well, what do I want to do for me now? I've been putting in a lot of effort and time for others, so what is it for me? And it's important, and I'm glad you found that, because sometimes not a lot of chefs do. They'll take a position or they'll take a pay or a salary that's really good, but it's not the work they want to do, so that's really important. The transition now, because being a cook, being a chef, and then now being in front of a camera and speaking in front of people, it's actually quite rare to find cooks or chefs that can do both confidently. Were you very nervous when you started to do food blogging and doing food media and content? Like, what was that? Did you have to come out of your shell?
Yes.
Especially even knowing broken English
Yes.
to be able to do that, That's so many challenges.
Yes. Actually, the reason one of the reasons I started content creation is because I wanted to be better at communication.
Okay.
And I wanted to improve my English.
Sure.
And because I have to put up my voice, so I have to be really conscious about my voice.
Yeah.
So I'm forced to listen to my own voice and to improve it all the time. And when it comes to facing in front of camera, it's also very nerve-wracking.
Yeah.
Actually, maybe the filming part is not, because there's actually no audience. But then I think the most nerve-wracking part is like when I started posting it, I got jittery and I got really anxious. Like, what are they gonna respond to this? Like, do people gonna think I'm weird or stuff like that? So I had a very bad sleep for the past like 6 months or like a year.
Really?
Yeah, because I had to, but I know that I wanted to get used to it. So every time I post it, I constantly check it, like scrolling, which is bad. But then I guess I've overcome that by repetitively putting myself in this uncomfortable situation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you think has been the biggest surprises or highlights of putting yourself out there with food content? When you look back, have there been opportunities maybe that have surprised you that have come out of doing something like that?
I guess now that I look back, it's amazing how putting myself out there can connect me with mind-like people. Because I've always thought there's a part of me that is different than my friends or my family, but then I can't seem to have that connection. And yes, it's like it's from digital, but then I can't really see that person in real life. But at the same time, it's quite reassuring to know that there are people who crave the same thing as I do.
And so tell us about where you're working now and about your involvement in Pastry there and what you're kind of doing.
Yeah, currently I'm a full-time content creator, which I'm very grateful for. But at the same time, I still work in a restaurant. I work in Italian fine dining restaurant. It's called Lana Dining, led by Chef Alex Wong. It's amazing.
Good guy.
Yes, and I'm only a casual pastry chef. Yeah. But the reason why I still want to work in the kitchen is because I still love being in the kitchen and I don't want to lose the rhythm. Yeah.
Yeah, I get that. It is hard to pull out of the energy and the opportunities that you find in a kitchen to learn, to craft, to practice things, all that sort of stuff. So it's really hard to pull out of it. So, all right, beautiful. So, as one of the most amazing pastry chefs in Sydney, tell us a bit about here. This is one of your favorite pastry places in Sydney, the Pastry store in Stanmore at the moment. We've got some pastries in front of us. We've got some coffee oat milk. Tell us a bit about why this is your favorite and about why you come here so often.
Yeah, actually, it's been my third time or fourth time, and I've always found the pastries to be delicious. The pastry, like especially like with the layers of the puff pastry, is nice and flaky. What I find them different than the rest of the other bakery is their unique flavors. They always come up with something like crazy, like putting mie goreng into a pastry. Who would have thought of that? But they did, which is like amazing. And they're the owners, Muti and Hari, they're such lovely people. And that's why I love coming here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have any favorites? Do you have any go-tos when you come here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it's hard because they keep changing all the time. But my favorite is actually mee goreng.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like unthinkable. It's like I didn't even I couldn't even imagine how that would taste until I tried it myself. I'm like, damn, this is real.
Yeah. Okay. Very good. Very good. All right. Now I'm going to throw you some quick questions at you. So short answers, quick questions. What is the best advice you've been given in hospitality?
No matter how simple the task is, try to do your best to be good at it. It's like sometimes you're given the same repetitive job and it feels like it's boring, but use that opportunity to be the best, be the fastest, and yeah, I think that's it. Yeah.
I'm going to second that. I had a friend who staged at Noma in Copenhagen,
Yeah.
and she said that she was picking herbs for 3 months, picking herbs, and people left.
Yeah.
There were other stages that were picking herbs and were like, fuck this, I don't want to do this. And she was like, screw that.
Yeah.
I'm going to be the fastest at picking herbs. I'm going to be the best at picking herbs.
Yeah.
And that sounds crazy. But they ended up giving her like a job and working there after that, you know? So I second that.
Yeah, because like as a young pastry chef, to be given something like that and just to do that, and then you think like, oh, why am I doing this? Like, what is this? What does this do to my career? Picking herbs, like that. But then actually, if you look at it, you can be the best herb picker.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then it's more like a mentality that you can bring anywhere you go.
Yeah, exactly. To every task.
Yeah.
It's not about the herbs, it's about the discipline.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, I get that. Okay, so do you have any highlights of your own career, or maybe dishes or experiences in your own career as a pastry chef that you've been very proud of?
I guess when I was like a head pastry chef, because for the first time I could make my own product, and I got to see how people react, like how people feel about my products, and when people really enjoy it, then I feel overjoyed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, very good, very good. All right, now, if you could give advice to your younger self starting out cooking, what advice would you give them?
What you're going through is tough, but you're on the right track. Just keep going and don't complain.
Don't complain. Very good. Very good. Done. Okay, I reckon that's pretty good. Is there anything you wanted to put out there, put across, maybe share about yourself before we wrap it up? Where can we find you? Where can we watch your stuff?
If you want to find me, you can find me on my Instagram, TikTok, but my main is on my Instagram. It's Ferrero Rocher.
Ferrero Rocher. Very good. I like that. Very good. Ferrero Rocher.
Yeah.
Follow.
From that, you can click my link in my bio and go to my TikTok, YouTube, and anywhere.
Good. I like it. Be there or be square.
Yeah.
Done. Very good. That was fun, huh?